Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica, spoiler warning. And as always, I am your not-so-humble host, Van Ebert here, taking up your time on Thursday night. So hopefully, I hope you weren't planning on getting anything productive done, because I'm here to waste all your time. You're welcome. There you go. All right. And how I'm going to be wasting your time tonight is with a little ditty of a movie called Warfare. That me and about 5 other people saw last weekend. So thanks, Minecraft. Yeah. I guess taking the kiddos out to a movie to get a distraction so mommy and daddy can get a little nappy nap. Minecraft is going to work out a little bit better for that endeavor than a bloody, brutal Iraq war movie called Warfare. I'm with you. I feel you, dog. I feel you. And so it's going to work better. So yes, Minecraft is going to make mind blowing amounts of money, as part of the electronic babysitter endeavor. Warfare, not so much right there. So, but it definitely is worth watching, and we're going to go more into why it is worth watching here, either in the theaters or later on when, if you're a parent, you have to wait for the kiddos to, go to sleep, and then you could sneak the bloody war movie on without them in the room and all that stuff right there. But we'll get into all that right here. But first, this.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Toodles, how you doing there? Well, I guess people typically say that when they're saying bye-bye. So, but welcome, willkommen into Movies Merica, spoiler warning, and hopefully you guys can hear me okay tonight. And so it's almost Thursday, or it's almost Thursday. Hey, doofus, it is Thursday. It's almost Friday, or Good Friday in this case right there. So, which... I always wondered that, why do they call it Good Friday? Because last time I checked, Jesus was crucified on Good Friday. But then, I had to have somebody explain it to me very slowly with small words. Well, it's a Good Friday because it's the day that Jesus did die for our sins, and that's good for us. Not so good for him on that particular day, but it ultimately is a good thing there. And then, of course, we have on Easter Sunday, as I get myself adjusted in the center, because I always suck at centering myself on this show. And then on Sunday we get Easter Sunday, and then resurrection, and all is good, all is well, and that kind of thing. But all due respect to the good Lord, we are here to talk about warfare, and it's not just me that can talk about warfare here tonight. You can talk about it as well here. That's one of the perks of doing this show live, is that we get to engage this tool called live chat. Okay, so I'm pressing the live chat button now. Boop. Engage. There you go. So you can get into the live chat on Rumble or YouTube and engage in some live chat with me. And let me know, hey, what's up? What's what? That kind of thing right there. Not just about warfare or any war movies, but, hey, if, you and I had a conversation last week about an itchy toe that you had, keep me updated on that itchy toe situation. There you go. So, hey, we got Beyond Formal up in here in the live chat right there. See, so somebody knows how to follow directions right there. Oh, hey, I'm sorry, Shawnee Mac. I completely missed you right there, and that's my bad. That's me slipping. Shawnee Mac in here, bringing the Mac attack, says, tonight we party! I don't know. Did I sell it? Did I commit to the role there? Shawnee Mac right there. So I mean, I don't want to leave anything out on the stage right there, because tonight we party, and I was inspired by your words right there, because yes, truly tonight we party. There you go. And I'm going to have a little party punch right here real quick. And hey, Shawnee Mac, tip one back yourself. That's good party. All right, there you go. And we got Beyond Formal in here, my man, the man with no fear, going out to tranny days of visibility and rubbing elbows and hobnobbing with all the tranny orcs out there. So he knows no fear. There you go. And he's saying, "Hey, movies, just popping in to say hi. Just finishing up mowing for the day right there. And I sure as hell hope you're talking about your lawn." There. So there you go. It's good. Oh, see, now how do I transition from that naughty phrase to this right here? It's good because he had to die to be resurrected. He had to die to be the sacrifice for our sin and open us all up to a one-on-one with the Father. I can't put it anything better than that. I am not even going to try to top that right there. Beyond Formal has just taken the gold medal. He's on the podium with the gold medal with that one right there. And Shawnee Mac is sold. There you go. Yes. And yeah, not my lawn, so many other lawns right there. And it reminds me, this episode brought to you by Manscaped. No, my bad. All right. So again, all that to say is get in the live chat, everybody. Okay, so get in the live chat, because I don't want to just be talking to myself. It's been awesome. The show is already enhanced for at least myself by having Shawnee Mac and Beyond Formal here to talk to right there. So absolutely. But let's get into some warfare here. And I don't know, to anybody that's seen warfare, I don't know if this is your primary question as you watch the end credits roll and as you were walking out of the theater, but where'd the tank go? That's my question. Where'd the tank go? Now, if you have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, because in the movie there's a scene where they're trying to get out some wounded as part of what they call a CASEVAC, or stands for casualty evacuation right there. Basically, there's medevacs and there's CASEVACs. And CASEVAC, basically the difference between that and a medevac is a medevac, you typically get like an ambulance or something like that, or a medevac chopper or something like that. CASEVAC is care is needed so urgently that if there's no ambulance and there's no medical chopper in the area, just send anything. Okay, send a Bradley, send a Prowler, send something, some kind of vehicle to evacuate the wounded. And so CASEVAC is like, send any vehicle. Medevac is, hey, if we have to wait a little bit for an ambulance, we'll do that. Okay, that's fine. So the CASEVAC, they call in a CASEVAC. They get in that they bring that tank in. They're in the process of loading the wounded in there, and all of a sudden, boom! And it's because this tank ran over an IED, and with the tank, it takes major damage and whatnot. But the IED, it's not going to vaporize a tank to where like a tank completely disappears. And so after that happened, and then later on, subsequently in the movie, I was looking and I'm like, wait, where'd the tank go? All right, shouldn't there be like this mangled pile of metal and fire and that kind of thing, like there where the tank ran over the IED? And maybe I don't know. Maybe I had too many gummies before the movie or something like that. I don't know, but I didn't see where the tank went. The tank completely disappeared at least on me. Maybe everyone else has a answer for me on that, and it's like one of those duh answers, where like, oh, okay, all right, yeah. Now that you explain it that way, there, Seth or whoever, that's what happened to the tank there. But I just that's one thing. I don't know if it's like if it's a continuity error with the movie or something like that. But yeah, that tank just up and disappeared, at least from my vantage point right there. But everything else with this movie was totally fine. I didn't notice any kind of continuity errors or anything like that. But it's not earth shattering. It's not a deal breaker. It's not a reason that you shouldn't go see the movie. And maybe most people wouldn't even noticed it if I hadn't said anything. I don't know. And it's probably better for you if you don't notice it right there. But I have this annoying habit of noticing things like that. So I legitimately was like walking out of through. Where'd that tank go? Huh? Where'd the tank go? Where'd the tank go? I don't know. Where'd the tank go? Do you know where the tank went? You? No? Okay, I don't know. So, anyway, but yeah, moving on right there. So anyway, but it's another thing about this movie is it's interesting watching news and documentary footage of battles like the 2006 Battle of Ramadi, because that's when this movie takes place, is during the second Battle of Ramadi, because I think the first Battle of Ramadi really was like in 2004, and then they had the second battle because Ramadi ended up being really declared the capital of the new caliphate by Al Qaeda there, or by the insurgents in Iraq there, because the one of the big mistakes that they made in Iraq there is they dismantled the Iraqi army. So that opened up the door for all kinds of insurgents to come in here and just wreak bloody hell all over the place. And on top of that, then they excluded the Ba'athist members, the member of the Ba'ath Party, from the new council of Iraq and that kind of thing. So that produced a lot of really pissed off Ba'athists, a lot of really pissed off Iraqis. And so, their outlet for that anger was becoming insurgents and bringing in insurgents from Iran. And of course, Iran was more than happy. Like, oh, you need insurgents? Oh, you need people to plant IEDs? You need snipers? Oh, hey, by all means, come on over to Iran over here. We've got insurgents are us over there. Yeah. It's just take two lefts, another right, and insurgents are us is right there. You can't miss it. It's open 24 hours, 7 days a week right there. Go and great. Yeah, get yourself some good deals at insurgents are us, and take them back over to Iraq right there. So they had all these insurgents, all these baddies, all these psychos that were wreaking all this violence, and falsely in the name of Allah right there. Really, we all know they do it just because they like carnage and blood, and they're murderous psychos, and they hide behind Islam and Allah and all that stuff. They just need a legit reason, but we all know they don't do it because of Islam. They just love the carnage and the blood. And so that opened up Iran or Iraq to all of that. And then all those scumbags, they declared Ramadi as like their capital, their new caliphate. And so Ramadi was like the most dangerous city in Iraq. Not Baghdad. No, Ramadi was. And so this movie, Warfare, it's part of that second Battle of Ramadi in 2006. And the big difference between the second Battle of Ramadi and the first Battle of Ramadi is in the second Battle of Ramadi, there was different tactics. Okay, in the first battle, what would happen is the U.S. military, they would go in during the day in Ramadi, fight the insurgents, and then the American military would pull out, go back to the safety of their base, and then all night long the insurgents would just dig back in. They just fortify themselves all night long, and then the military would go right back in the next day, fight them again, and leave again back to the base. The insurgents would fortify overnight. It just this cycle continued and continued and continued. And the U.S. military was like, "Why aren't we making any progress in Ramadi? What's going on? We can't do anything." And then I forget who it was. Was it some colonel or general. I think his last name was I think his name was like Sean McFarland or something like that. I forget what his name, or Sean Mc. I was about to say Sean McDonough. No, not the football announcer or the sports announcer. I think like Sean McFarland or someone that came in, and he devised this new tactic where he said, "Hey, you know what? Why are we leaving during the day? Like, why are we abandoning Ramadi at night and letting the insurgents refortify? That's why we're not getting anywhere right there. We need to stay in the town and put up overwatches so that we can gain territory, and then we can hold that territory, because we're not leaving like a bunch of little girls and running back to the safety of our base. We're staying right in Ramadi." And then also that builds up confidence within the people of Ramadi in the U.S. military, and it fortifies it. It makes the people of Ramadi. It reminds them that we're there to help them. We're actually trying to help the people of Ramadi. We're trying to get the insurgents from blowing up this town of Ramadi, and we're trying to put in schools and water and sanitation and all this stuff, right? We're trying to do that, but these damn insurgents are stopping us from doing that, and they're successful in stopping us in doing that, because we keep running off to our base, every night, or before the night falls. So we decided to stay in Ramadi every day as we gain ground, and eventually we gained ground, and I think, what was it, by 2000, like a year after we engaged that tactic, Ramadi was clear of insurgents and that kind of thing. But remember how I said, like, we would fight the insurgents and we would stay in overnight and establish overwatches. We'd like go into people's homes and stay there, so then that way we could keep an eye on the insurgents and keep them from refortifying overnight. And so that's what these soldiers in Overwatch or in warfare in this movie are doing, is they're going into Ramadi to establish an overwatch in the home of this family in Ramadi there. And they're going to, look out the windows and establish a overwatch point where they could spy on insurgents and establish, a line of sight for snipers and that kind of thing. But in the course of doing that, it seems that, and I haven't established this or confirmed this, but it seems like they just happened to choose the wrong house, because the house they chose just happened to be right across the street from a insurgent stronghold, a house that the insurgents were using as a base of operations. And it became obvious to the insurgents, like, across the street, I think I saw some infidels over there. They're right over there. I could see their rifles sticking out the windows. We got to get them. And so they, that became obvious to the insurgents, and so that's the framing. That's kind of the base of what's happening here, is that because the insurgents know that these U.S. troops are in this house right across the street performing Overwatch, and the reason that they're doing Overwatch is the Navy SEALs are doing Overwatch because they went in the night before to establish Overwatch in this house, because then the day after that, non-Navy SEAL troops, like just regular Army, like doorbusters, were going to come into Ramadi and start busting down doors and hunting down insurgents and that kind of thing. And so those regular Army folks, they needed Navy SEALs in Overwatch positions to take out baddies and that kind of thing. So the Navy SEALs had to get there first to establish the Overwatch positions, and that's what's going on here. And so for me, though, back to watching news and documentary footage of battles like this Battle of Ramadi here, for me, even though that's real footage, I don't really get the impact of a battle until I see a movie recreation of it, okay? I see like a dramatic recreation of it. It's much like that infamous Omaha Beach scene at the beginning of Saving Private Ryan. Sure, up until that point, we'd all seen black and white and some color footage of, the Higgins boats full of men closing in on the beaches of Normandy, and then, maybe an aerial shot of the sweeping invasions, like the aerial shots you see, like the the dirigibles and the weather balloons and all that up there and all the ships coming in and that kind of thing. You'd see an aerial shot of all that. But it was all very impersonal and academic, right? Then suddenly, this guy named Steven Spielberg provides this "you are there" type scene in sort of color, and you kind of know what I mean if you've ever seen Saving Private Ryan. That movie is never going to be accused of being the most colorful movie in the history of cinema. No, not at all. It's all kind of washed out. And Spielberg did that on purpose, of course. But it's, yeah, you're in this "you are there" scene in this sort of color where, you're in a Higgins boat watching soldiers with distress all over their faces, and even some, they're just yakking, they're just booting right there in the Higgins boat, out of fear, or, seasickness, because those Higgins boats, they're no joke, right? I mean, you saw little Higgins boats and they're like going through the water, boom, 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 and I'm like, yeah, I could definitely imagine myself yakking, in one of those boats right there. And then the boat ramp doors drop, and so do so do some of the bodies of those very same soldiers you just saw in mass bloody quantities. It's not clinical. It's not distance. It's in your face. That's why cinematic recreation of a horrific battle hits me the hardest. I mean, that's why when I watch some PBS documentary of the storming of Omaha Beach or something like that, I'm watching it like, oh, that's very interesting. More popcorn? Yeah, there you go, more popcorn. Yeah, okay. But when I'm watching, like the first time I ever saw Saving Private Ryan in 1998 in a movie theater on the big screen, and I saw that infamous Normandy scene, the infamous D-Day scene, I was just like, okay. I was like, oh my God, oh my, is that body parts flying around? Oh my God, oh, those guys are on fire. Oh my God, like whoa, it really puts you into the moment right there. It's weird, and Warfare is that for a good portion of its 95-minute runtime. It goes from 20 minutes at the beginning of these Navy SEALs just kind of going through like this tedious Overwatch work to basically the shit hitting the fan with just one grenade thrown into their house. So, warning, if you haven't seen the movie, the beginning, the first 20 minutes is a slow burn, okay, because it's just the soldiers, just the Navy SEALs in the house, and they're just clearing the house. They're sitting around. You see the sniper, and he's looking through his scope, and he's checking out insurgents across the street. And then you've got the comms guys. They're establishing comms and establishing their position and all this stuff. It's a very tedious, very like a kind of like a accounting kind of thing, right? It's very, very scholastic, very academic. Not a whole lot of ass kicking going on right there. Okay, but then that all goes out the window with one grenade thrown into the house there by the insurgents there. Now in this movie, another warning: there is no music. Okay, just like in that Saving Private Ryan scene, there wasn't any music in that because there wouldn't be in real life, would there? There wouldn't be any music. I'm sure when the soldiers were storming Omaha Beach, there wasn't any music playing. There wasn't, some sweeping John Williams or Hans Zimmer music playing or anything like that. No, it was like the sound of gunfire and explosions and the ocean crashing up on the beach and that kind of thing, and people screaming in pain and that kind of thing. So yeah, there wouldn't be any music, there at all, right? Well, unless you're attacking a VC village with Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries blasting out of some helicopter like an Apocalypse Now, okay? I love the smell of badassery in the morning, all right? It just smells like victory right there, so absolutely. And yeah, here we go, Madhouse Retro here. Welcome to the show right there. And yeah, they say very true. I agree. Awe and contemplation are two different movie watching experiences right there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's with the movies, they can recreate it there. They can, they've got that luxury of creating something, to recreate a moment there. They could set up, blood squibs and explosions and set up all kinds of obstacles and whatever it takes, to recreate this war scene. With a documentary, it's just showing existing footage. Okay, you can't mock it up, can't alter it. Maybe you can, but you shouldn't, right? And with most war movies, it is accompanied by like some sweeping music. Okay, like I'm gonna be talking about the movie We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson a little later on, and that's got a bunch of sweeping, very powerful, heart tugging music in it to go with the bloody carnage and that kind of thing. So, and it really hits you. It hits you harder than some PBS or some YouTube documentary or anything like that. I always like watching that World War II in color documentary, like just hours and hours of it. I mean, it's kind of like the dad thing. Dads love to watch World War II documentaries and that kind of thing. And I watch that, and again, there's never a moment when I'm watching World War II in color where I'm like, oh my god, I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm contemplating it, like Madhouse Retro was talking about it. So yeah, the documentaries, they don't have big booms and screams. It doesn't have that. All right, it has like it usually has some British narrator, like, and so they stormed the beaches, and they had to leave the gear in the rear, as they had to mount an overwhelming defense against the German advances. Just like typically like some British, narrator just, breaking it down for us, breaking down the game film for us and all that stuff right there. That's how we roll up in here. All right. So, and again, thanks for joining here, Madhouse Retro, and blessing us with your presence there. And real quick here, I just want to ask you and try to resist the begging. I'm trying to resist begging you to click on that like button down there, if you would. Hit that like button, if you would. It's calling to you right there. Okay, it's showing a little leg. Okay, so, and that means it wants you to click on it right there. Okay, so don't leave the lady waiting. Okay, be a gentleman. All right, and give the lady what she wants. Click that like button right there. Okay, and then also, hey, just to let you know, I am 2 away from hitting 200 subscribers on Rumble. Okay, so if you're watching this on Rumble and you see that button there, that follow button there on Rumble, and it's just still says follow on it, go ahead and click on that follow button if you would. All right, because that would be fantastic, because I'm trying to move up from 198 to get up to that 200 or more. Okay, right there. So if you can manage to click on that follow button, it doesn't cost you anything to click on that follow button. If you would, I would definitely appreciate it. And also the girl in my pit over here will appreciate that, because if you follow me and I get up to 200, she will not get the hose again. So there you go. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Not for you not to get the hose again? Yeah. It would be nice, wouldn't it? So I know it's up to these guys. It's up to these guys. Anybody watching right now, live or the recording of it later on, yes, go ahead and hit that follow button on Rumble if you would. I definitely would appreciate that, and I know she would appreciate it. And hey, don't stop. Put that lotion on your skin. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, slather that on. There you go. Don't be stingy. Yeah, don't be stingy with the. Just go ahead and slather that on. There you go. There you go. All right. Yeah, absolutely. There you go. All right. All right. And hey, just kidding. I don't have a girl in my pit. Oh my God. Or I don't have a pit at all. There you go. You have to spell that out nowadays on the internet right there, because people are like, oh my God, I'm gonna get swatted. Because people are like, oh my God, that van guy, he's got a girl in his pit over there. Oh my God. So there you go. I'm gonna hog some swatting from Tim Pool for once. Right there. Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, Madhouse Retro. Yeah, right. Yeah, 100%. It's British or it's Morgan Freeman. Exactly. Yeah, Morgan Freeman. That'd be fantastic to have that on there. Absolutely. And then also, if you would hit that notification bell down there as well. I don't want to leave that button out there as well. Hit the notification bell, and you will hear a distinct ding, 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 whenever there is a brand new piping hot episode of Movies America waiting just for your consumption right there. And then lastly, if you're not watching this live, if you're watching the recording of it, you're watching, you just clicked on this episode, but this episode, I did it like 2 years ago. Well, hey, I appreciate you watching. Appreciate that right there. All right. And I want to communicate with you, okay? And the way that we can still communicate with each other is through the comments down below right there. Yeah, let me know what you think of the episode. Let me know, hey, man, Van, I don't know how to put this gently. You suck. You suck royally. You're not very good at this. You should go back to working at the quarry. All right? Just go back. Just stop. Just stop. All right? Or you might be like, Van, oh my God, I was about to quit Rumble. I was about to quit YouTube. I was getting sick of it. I couldn't find a decent show to watch. And then I found your show there, Van, Movies America. And it changed my life. All right? It moved me to tears just how good you were at this right there. And there's a lot of guys that could learn a good lesson from you there, Van, about how to do a show the right way right there. Okay. And maybe you want to take some time out from the show there, Van, and write a book about the perfect way to do a live stream, because, brother, that's what you do every night. A perfect live stream right there. You are the Mona Lisa of live stream. See, there you go. That's what I'm saying. See, see where I'm going with that? Butter me up right there. Okay, there you go. All right, butter me up there. Or if you want to just let me know of a movie that you want me to review, that's cool as well. So, but I prefer the buttering up though. So, but that's just between you and me. All right, there you go. All right, there. You know what? I'm gonna get a drink. I'm gonna drink. Should I get a drink? I don't know why I'm asking permission. I'm gonna get a drink anyway, and you guys should get a drink there as well. I'm personally, I'm having a brew here tonight, but whatever you're having, if you're having some sweet tea, you're down south, you're sitting on a porch swing, and you're having some sweet tea, oh, you're in New York and you're drinking a Cosmo at a high-rise bar, looking down on all the little people. Drink that Cosmo up. Me, I'm a regular dude having a regular dude brew right here. So to that, all right. Ooh. Daddy needed that. Daddy. All right, let's talk more warfare here, shall we? And about one of the directors of the movie, Ray Mendoza. Now, he brings realism to this movie because he was one of the Navy SEALs there in this ordeal that warfare is all about there in Ramadi. However, Ray Mendoza, he's hardly the first military veteran to direct a war movie. I mean, you go all the way back to 1927, like way back in 1827. All right, when Cadillacs cost a nickel. There you go. When William Wellman, a World War I pilot, directed the air combat movie Wings. Okay. Back in 1927, way back then. And then, of course, you have Hollywood legend John Ford. No, he's not the father of Harrison Ford. This is something totally different. We have John Ford, who worked for the OSS during World War II. Pardon me. And also, he was on Omaha Beach during D-Day. Okay, he was like, taking footage and that kind of thing. That's what John Ford did. He was like a filmmaker or a documentarian or something like that. And so he was on, he's probably one of the guys that if you're watching, D-Day footage on PBS or YouTube or something like that, probably some of the footage that you're watching is from Hollywood legend John Ford. So he was in the military, and then he later on went on to direct movies like, They Were Expendable and December 7, the movie, which December 7, the movie was like just an outright blatant propaganda movie there. So, and then one director that you might know better. Ooh, boy. Sorry about that. That you might know better, or one movie that you might know better. MASH, okay. The movie, not the TV series, there was directed by Robert Altman. And Robert Altman was an Air Force veteran, okay? So now I guess he decided to. He's an Air Force veteran, but he's doing a movie about the Army because, as you know, MASH stands for Mobile Army Surgical Hospital there, and so obviously it's the Army, not the Air Force there. But Robert Altman, yeah, another example of a military veteran getting in on the movie making there about or involving wartime. And so MASH, yeah, he made MASH the movie, and then of course there was MASH the TV series. That's probably more famous than the movie. And as it's famously known, MASH the TV series lasted for 11 years, and I think the Korean War that is the location or the locale that MASH takes place in. I think the Korean War only lasted 3 years or 4 years or something like that. But the TV series that took place during the Korean War lasted for 11 years. There, so I always thought that was kind of funny. No, I didn't say hilariously funny; I just said kind of funny. All right, so there you go. And then probably the most famous example of a military veteran directing a movie about the military is, of course, Oliver Stone. Okay, Oliver Stone. He enlisted in the Army in 1967 and requested combat duty in Vietnam. I mean, he looked straight up said, "Nah, I don't want to work in the post office. I don't want to be in the rear with the gear. I don't really like working in logistics or something like that. No, I want to be a combat veteran. I want to be I want combat duty. I want to get in the shit. All right, I want to get in there. I want to get in the bush." And so he did that. That's what he did. He's like, he just volunteered for combat duty, much like the character Chris, played by Charlie Sheen in Platoon. So basically, the whole character of Chris, played by Charlie Sheen in Platoon, as you guys probably well know, that's pretty much Oliver Stone in Vietnam right there. Now, I've never looked up to see if there truly were characters like Sergeant Barnes and Sergeant Elias, and if there was this big rivalry, and if Sergeant Barnes killed Elias, and if something like that all went down. I've never researched that to see if that's based on something real in Oliver Stone's Vietnam experience. I don't know. The movie's great though. There, it's not as good as Full Metal Jacket, and some people might say that's sacrilege. Like Platoon, not as good as, or it's not. It's worse than Full Metal Jacket. That's sacrilege, But I'm perfect. I'm more of a Full Metal Jacket, Hamburger Hill guy. Platoon, I like Platoon, but I like those other movies better as far as Vietnam movies there. So, but Platoon, I mean, it can't be discounted. When Platoon came out in 1986, that movie was a pop culture sensation. Okay, it was definitely part of the zeitgeist in 1986. Okay, in 1986, everyone was talking like, "You got to go see Platoon. You got to see Platoon." Okay, because I mean, it wasn't the first movie that was about Vietnam. We had The Deer Hunter and Apocalypse Now, and those movies before that. But for some reason, Platoon just really got a hold of the zeitgeist of the country there. And then Platoon was just the first in Stone's Vietnam trilogy of movies that, again, after Platoon, it was followed up by Tom Cruise and Born on the 4th of July, where he played Ron Kovic. And then in 1993, the much lesser known third installment in Oliver Stone's Vietnam trilogy was Heaven and Earth, that starred Tommy Lee Jones. And even though it's much lesser known than Platoon and Born on the 4th of July, Heaven and Earth is still worth checking out. Okay, it's still a good movie. It's got some really heart-wrenching moments in it. So I would definitely check out Heaven and Earth. I imagine it's probably really hard to find. I don't know. Maybe it's very easy to find for you to watch. But I would check out Heaven and Earth. And then Ray Mendoza, he doesn't go down the anti-war route that Oliver Stone did, nor does Ray Mendoza go down the pro-war path either. He just shows you 95 minutes of warfare and then lets you decide what you feel. It's not trying to pull your strings with stirring music and retellings of war history that may or may not contain all the facts. It's almost like he trusts you to be an adult. And know to critically think about things. Wow. Wowie zowie. Mind blowing. Wow. It's like somebody trusting adults to be adults and not trying to play mommy and daddy's censorship. What? That's incredible. Incredible there, I tell you. Oh, right. All right. There you go. And yeah, Madhouse Retro right there. The casting for the MASH movie was insane. Yeah, I mean, we had what Elliot Gould and Sally Kellerman, and I see. I'm like, I've got the MASH TV series like just so embedded in my head, and so I got Alan Alda and Mike Farrell and Jamie Farr and all the people from the TV series like clouding up my memory, so I forget like who was actually in the movie. Who was Donald Sutherland was in the MASH movie there. So yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Full Metal Jacket is a much better movie than Platoon. Full Metal Jacket was psychological. It was amazing. Yeah, I mean Full Metal Jacket had that hard edge, right? It had that razor's edge to it that Platoon didn't have. I mean, Platoon was gritty. It had plenty of war, violence, and shocking moments and that kind of thing. But Full Metal Jacket, being directed by Stanley Kubrick, it just kind of had like this kind of biting, subversive wit to it, right? Especially through the character of Joker, played by Matthew Modine. And just as a side note, right there, as a squirrel moment, look up like Matthew Modine, Val Kilmer, Full Metal Jacket. Okay, because you probably find a recording of Matthew Modine talking about how he's thankful to Val Kilmer for how he got the part of Joker in Full Metal Jacket right there. So, and again, shout out to the late great, recently dearly departed Val Kilmer right there. So, so Stanley Kubrick just had this biting, subversive wit within the movie there between Joker and also with Sergeant Hartman, the drill instructor there, played by the late great R. Lee Ermey, who R. Lee Ermey was really was a drill instructor in real life. He was there during the filming of Full Metal Jacket as a technical advisor. There to as a military technical advisor for the military aspects of the movie, of course. And I think at one point they had somebody pegged to play the drill instructor. And I think somebody said, "Hey, Arlie, get in there and show them how it's done as a drill instructor." And Arlie Ermey, of course, having been a drill instructor, just knocked it out of the park as a drill instructor. And Stanley Kubrick was like, "What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Arlie, you're the drill instructor in my movie. You're the drill instructor, okay? So yeah, you're not just the technical advisor. You're the drill instructor from now on, right there." And so that's fate intervened right there for Arlie Ermey and led him to a distinguished Hollywood career after Full Metal Jacket. But just how Sergeant Hartman carried himself, and this is my rifle, this is my gun, this is for fighting, this is for fun. Just all the chants he did, and just the way that he just got all up in the grills of all the privates there. It was awesome. And then you could just throughout the movie there was this subtle, or depending on who you ask, not so subtle anti-war messaging through the movie and that kind of thing. So, but so Full Metal Jacket just has so much to it, and it hits you, right? It's got so much more impact, right? Especially with Private Gomer Pyle, right, and how that whole basic training segment, the first half of Full Metal Jacket ends with the character arc of Private Gomer Pyle there, where he's just like this doofy, goofy, Taballard, why the hell is he in Marine boot camp, kind of guy who couldn't stop smiling there. And Sergeant Hartman quickly, convinces him, stop that damn smiling, like that kind of thing. And he goes from that dorky, what are you doing here, loser kind of guy. It's probably harsh, but and then from that to how do I want to put this? Like this put together Marine, and you're thinking, whoa, wow, what a positive transition, what a positive character arc for Private Gomer Pyle. Yeah, he was a loser before, but now he's a a tough fighting machine for the Marines. Yeah, all right, and I'm so happy for Private Gomer Pyle. I'm so happy for him. So happy for him. What a great character arc for him. And then, of course, the end of that segment, where he's in a bathroom and he just goes completely psycho, and that whole scene where he's in a bathroom there, Full Metal Jacket, 5.5, just like the whole the whole monologue he does, and then he blows away Sergeant Hartman and kills himself, and just that whole scene, it was like, when you're watching, like, oh my God, like, oh, and it really hits you harder than anything you see in Platoon, okay? And then, of course, right after that, they just kind of like transition from that to Vietnam, and then you just hear Nancy Sinatra's, these boots were made for walking, songs start up and that kind of thing. So, hey, we're getting we're getting a good reminder here from Madhouse Retro right here. Elliot Gould played Trapper, so good. Robert Duvall was Frank Burns, okay. And then Sally Kellerman was Hot Lips Houlihan right there. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, Elliot Gould, he went on to play a lot of other great roles with that there. A lot of great movies. And then probably a lot of like the younger crowd might know Elliot Gould mostly for the Oceans movie, like Oceans 11, Oceans 12, Oceans 13 there. And then also, of course, he played what's her name? She's the Ross's dad. Ross and Monica. Is it Monica? Is that who Courtney Cox played? I think. I think. Well, we're going with Monica. Monica and Ross's dad in Friends. Elliot Gould played their father there. So absolutely. And then Robert Duvall. Of course, he went on to be in Apocalypse Now, another military-based movie there. And of course, then he was a crew chief for Tom Cruise and Days of Thunder and many other great movies and that kind of thing. So there you go, right there. And hey, we got Channel 2 Action News. All right. I thought I heard like some breaking news music in the background. Tonight on Channel 2 Action News, our top story. There you go. I thought I heard like some corny music in there. And he comes in and he says, Van, I just got the gummies that make you feel funny that you sent me. Well, there you go. All right. It's an early Christmas present for Channel 2 Action News right there. So absolutely. And hey, you enjoy it, but enjoy responsibly there, Channel 2 Action News, because I don't want to see you later on the Channel 2 Action News there, being chased down where you're basically completely naked. With nothing but balloon animals wrapped around your arms, and you're sucking on a lollipop right there. I don't want to see that on the news. I don't want to see that anywhere right there. So responsibility is the name of the game right there. And hey, we got Channel 2 Action News right here with the gummy monies right there with the Rumble Rant, the $10 Rumble Rant. Absolutely. Thank you very much right there, gummy monies. And I am going to drink to that gummy monies right there. Oh, yeah. There you go. Ah, yes. It's a cash-fueled episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning here tonight. Thanks to Channel 2 Action News right there. And I think Channel 2 Action News, I think he's laying down the gauntlet to everybody here watching tonight. Here with that $10 Rumble Rant right there, because I think he's like, hey, I gave the $10 Rumble Rant right there. Like, What else does everybody got? Come on, bring it, bring it. There you go. Am I the only one that's going to step up to the plate? All right, and show this guy some love. All right, so I'm putting money behind my words right there. I'm backing up my words with action, or in this case, money. There you go, right there. So, yep, just chilling and relaxing there tonight. Absolutely there. But yeah, great Full Metal Jacket, Platoon, great movies right there, absolutely. And let's do this here. I just want to make sure we got everything here in order and all that kind of stuff because I run a tight ship around here. That is for sure, absolutely. And let's do this here because I want to double check everything. I want to make sure there's something right there. And yeah, we've got that. We 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 got that. And all right, there we go. So, yeah, just more on warfare here. Warfare, it's not the goriest, most brutal war movie I've ever seen, but it also doesn't hold back on the carnage. I mean, I guess just off the top of my head, I'd have to say that the honor of the goriest, bloodiest war movie I've ever seen would be We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson. Pardon me. About like the Army Air Cav going into the Ai Drang Valley in Vietnam. I mean, that movie has got some of the bloodiest and fiery images of war carnage that also, in some cases, is heart wrenching. I mean, it just really gets you like right there. Okay. Now, in warfare, we see disemboweled bodies, we see body parts and gruesome injuries. But what hits the hardest, though, at least for me, and let me know how you guys feel about that, is the blood curdling screaming from the injured that didn't stop like it miraculously and conveniently does in most other war movies. Okay. Like most other war movies, somebody will get a hideous war injury and they'll be like, ah, and then it'll just kind of fade off into the distance. You won't hear it like after about a minute. You're like, whoa, what did the pain just mysteriously go away? I didn't hear anybody say that you're going to give them some morphine or anything like that, right? And I know that some writers and directors, put this in war movies, and you're supposed to think, war is bad. They put in, gore and carnage and blood and guts and all that stuff, and you're supposed to think, war is bad. We should never go to war. Well, two things can be true at the same time, as we all know, right? I mean, I think we would all agree that yes, there's some a lot of times you get people, they present this false dichotomy. It's either this or that. They can't both be true at the same time. It's either this or that. Pick a side, And it's like, no. Sometimes two things can be true at the same time right there. And I definitively hate war, just to let you know my stance. Okay, I know I'm really going out there. Okay, I'm really like blowing minds. I hate war and everything about it. Okay, while at the same time, I recognize other entities in the world. They do sometimes do things that force you into war. Okay, like if you don't go to war, you get conquered. All right, so situations like that. So so you can think soldiers getting blown up is bad, but that doesn't matter because you're forced into war sometimes due to circumstances. Okay, sometimes you're like, we got to go to war because if we don't, that nation, that army over there, that Air Force, that Navy, they're going to come over here and they're going to conquer us. All right, so we have to go to war. We don't want to, but we have to. We hate war. We hate war and everything associated with it, but we're going to get conquered. Okay, we're gonna have to speak German if we don't do something about it. All right, and so yeah, I mean, all that being said, we haven't really had a circumstance like that where we had to go to war or we'd be conquered since World War II. However, I mean, it could happen again. I mean, maybe even within this country right here, and I'm not saying that to try to be all controversial and shocking and all that. So I mean, we just we know what we hear in the headlines nowadays, like in case you haven't been paying attention, there's a little animosity between that thing called the Democrats and that thing called the Republicans, or maybe a better way of putting it, conservatives and liberals, or leftists, commies, or whatever you want to call them. I call them commies myself, because you can't be a group of people that hate this country as much as they do and not be a communist right there. Because you think about it, okay, we all live in America, and if you live in America and you hate this country and you want it to fall, then, well, you're not American. You're not American. I mean, yeah, technically you're an American citizen, but really, with your actions and your mindset and your worldview, you're not an American. You're American in, like, like in the aspect that you're a citizen, but in all other aspects of you are not an American. You're a communist. Okay, and because I say that, one of the reasons I say this is because who would want the downfall of America? Okay, well, it wouldn't be Americans. It wouldn't be people that love America. It would be like communists. Or you could say Chinese, but Chinese is run by the Communist Party, the Chinese Communist Party. Okay, so so the communists would cover that as well. You could be a Russian communist or a Chinese communist, but you're a communist right there because you hate this country. You want so much bad for this country. For instance, you want an open border, and and you don't care who gets into the country. You don't care. You don't care if some psychotic murderers and rapists and whoever gets in. You don't care. Okay, you don't care because you want a bunch of people in this country that you can turn into citizens, and then you can tell them, hey, that other party didn't want you in, but we did. And remember, we're the party that has the D behind their name. Remember, the people with D behind their names, they wanted you here. So vote for anybody with the D. Okay. And oh yeah, I see you brought your psycho murderer cousin with you. That's totally cool. I live in a gated community. I live in an elite, rich, gated community. I will never have to worry about your psycho murderer cousin like affecting me or any of my loved ones. But sure, they'll go out and live amongst the working class and the blue collar people, and they'll rape their daughters and kill their families and all that. But I don't care. I don't care because I don't care about that family. I live in my gated community or my high rise apartment in New York City. I don't care. Okay, so people that think that way, they're not Americans. Okay, they're communists, and so that kind of thing. So all that to say, so you've got those people, and then you've got people who love America, right? They recognize that America is this great experiment in freedom and liberty, and I don't care how much you guys hate to hear this, communists and leftists. This country was based on Judeo-Christian principles. If you hate it, if that makes you feel bad, suck it. I don't care. That's what it's based on and should continue to be based on. If you don't like it, there's the door. All right? There you go. So you have people that are American patriots that recognize that, and so those people, they want the best for this country there. And so it's those people, it's the people who love this country that want the best for American citizens, where they don't make American citizens priority number 2 and illegal aliens priority number 1. Okay, that would be the communists. That would be the leftists. That would be your AOCs, your Jasmine Hood Rat Crockett, those people, right? The George Soros and Chuck Schumer, all those people. The American citizens that love America and want the best for Americans and their fellow Americans, that would be obviously our president, President Trump. Okay, like or hate his personality, you can't deny the guy wants the best for this country right there. Yeah, is he corny? Does he act like a goofball sometimes? Yes, but that doesn't matter to me. It's his policies, all right? And so all that to say is, yeah, you've got the America lovers like Trump and American patriots versus the commies that hate this country and want this country burnt to the ground. That's the Civil War I was talking to. Okay, that the Civil War that I mentioned 2 hours and 34 minutes ago before I went on this whole diatribe about commies and American patriots. But that's a Civil War we may be looking at here down the road. And I don't want that. But at the same time, I recognize commies, you're going to lose. All us American patriots, we got the guns. We got a lot more guns than you. So, yeah, step to us, and you're going down fast. There you go. All right, there. Where were we here with this crazy, crazy time that we're all in here? So, I know what we can do. We can do brew review time. That's what we can do because I love me some brew review time there. And so this is the part of the show that because we're on Rumble Studio, I have to try to buy time while I find the brew review time intro. So so here's where I go. Beer. It starts with the letter B. Then it's followed by the letter E. And then it has another letter E. And then the final letter in the word beer is an R. Do you know what else begins with the letter R? Retard. Yes, retard begins with the letter R as well. Also, like I said, the beer starts with the letter B. You know what else starts with the letter B? Bunny rabbit. Yes, bunny rabbit starts with the letter B right there. And there we go. Hey, how'd I do? Did I buy enough time right there? Wasn't that a masterful job at buying time right there? Yes, I know it was. All right. So to that, let's get into a little brew review time. Righty. Let's go for this brew review time. Let's go with a little Belhaven Scottish Ale right there. So yes, the official beer of Gerard Butler. Right? Well, I don't know if it's the official beer of Gerard Butler, but Gerard Butler is a Scotsman, so I just imagine that it's his favorite beer right there. I could be wrong, but anyway. But we got Belhaven Scottish Ale right there, and this is basically like a rich, nutty beer, which is asymptomatic for a lot of Scottish ales right there. And it's got these notes of biscuit malt and caramel. The description says it's got these notes of caramel. I could not taste the caramel. Let me try this again here. No, still not getting that caramel. Right there. But anyway, I digress. But this is brewed by Scotland's oldest brewery, so the Belhaven Brewery. And that sucker was established way back in 1719. Yes. Old brewery. But I have to say, okay, and again, I'm not getting any money from Belhaven Brewery here, all right? But I got to say, they still got it. All right? Those skills that pay the bills have not faded since 1719 right there. So I'm digging this beer right here. So much so, I want to get another tug off this thing. Yeah, I like that. It's got that smoky taste to it, but not too smoky. It's not too overwhelming or anything like that. I know that some beers can go overboard with the smoky taste, but this is good and subtle. And you do get that nutty flavor right there. So it's got this little spiciness in it as well there. And that's got this, it's because it's got these Challenger and Golding hops in it that kind of gives it this distinctive spiciness to a little bit of a bite. Okay, so now don't worry, you're not gonna drink this and have fire come out of your mouth. It's not that kind of spicy there. It's just got a little bit of an edge to the beer to go along with the nuttiness there. But Belhaven Scottish Ale right there, brewed in Scotland's oldest brewery right there. So beam yourself up some Belhaven Scottish Ale there. You're probably going to have to beam it up, though, with something like the Open Bar app on your phone or Uber Eats. Uber Eats delivers booze as well, because you might have this like in your local gas and gulp or grocery store or something like that. But in case you don't, I just gave you a couple of options there to get your hands on some Belhaven Scottish Ale, Gerard Butler's favorite beer, by the way. But I'm going to take another tug off this thing right here. So, delicious. All right. So, with that, let's wrap up this brew review time. Okay, what should we do now? Up in this house, there we go. And I like this right here. I like this. I want to get some more people on the live chat right here. I mean, I do like we got Channel 2 Action News, Madhouse, Retro. We have Shawnee Mac on the YouTube side there. So, and now, one thing I always say is, so if you're watching this show and you've got both hands free, okay, so show us your hands. Show us your hands. You know, you don't have your hands occupied, like you're not behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler, you know, or because that's what drivers of 18-wheelers. That's how they roll. That's how they drive right there. They sway back and forth. Or you're not, you don't have your hands, deep inside some chocolate chip cookie dough or something like that. You got your hands free right there. And so you can type or you can text or something like that. So if you've got your hands free and you're just watching the show and you're not in the live chat, at least saying hi or putting a shit emoji in the live chat, well, you're doing what we call lurking. Okay. And lurking, to put it not so finely, is basic. Okay. We all know you can do so much better than just being basic and just lurking. All right. If you've got the ability, your hands are free and you got the ability to say hi or hello or what's up, dude, in the live chat, do that right there. And that will make you a champion. All right. You will no longer be a lowly lurker. Although, don't get me wrong, I appreciate you watching the show. I mean, so don't take that as turn off the show. Like, yeah, don't be that guy like, me just watching the show isn't good enough. You want me to live chat? Oh, what else do you want me to do? Do you want me to dance like a monkey for you? Like, no, I don't want that reaction. So if I have to choose between you watching and not live chatting or just plain going away, please keep watching the show. I appreciate you all the same right there. Much love to you. Okay, there we go. But I'm just saying that, the show is much more interactive and interesting for me and for you, I would imagine, if we interact with each other. We get the lines of communication going here. And also, that's another beauty of live chat is you can use it as an outlet to distract me, okay? Because that's one thing that a lot of people, they take pleasure in when they go into the live chat of various shows, is the shows will be about a specific topic, right? Like tonight's show on War Stories, we are talking about the retreat of Saigon in Vietnam. And then someone will be in a live chat and they'll be like live chatting about boobs, or getting their dogs neutered, or their first sexual encounter or something like that in a live chat, trying to like distract the people trying to do the war history live chat and that kind of thing. So doing whatever, right? So that's your invitation right there to get in the live chat and try to distract me. All right, so get in there and do your worst, okay? Or you can just get in the live chat and just call me a loser, or I'm a Peter Puffer or something like that. Just let me have it with the insults or something like that. I mean, it's your invitation. It's your opportunity to be cruel. Okay, there you go. And come on, what better chance to do that than my live chat right there? Okay, so be sadistic. Just go crazy, go nuts in the live chat right there. Okay, so there you go, live chat on Rumble or YouTube right there. Now, if it's something where you're like, how do I get to the live chat? Well, on Rumble, I believe it's just there's a button that's just called chat. You just click on that, or down below the video. If you scroll down below the video, you'll see like a chat section to type in. On YouTube, it's down at the bottom, or sometimes on the side of the video, you'll see the live chat. You'll see a little field down at the bottom where you can just type in your message and that kind of thing. And again, I'm not asking for the Gettysburg Address or your valedictorian speech. Just get on there and just say hi. There you go. That's all you gotta do. Or hey, loser, how you doing? There you go. That's all. Something like that. That'll work. All right. So let's do this here and switch it up a little bit by showing you something that is going to just knock your socks off, and that would be some merch. Yes, get yourself some merch. Get yourself some Movies Merica merch to enhance your life. All right. So maybe you're like, I'm a loser, But now with Movies America merch, you can be a winner. Ding! There you go. So, and in order to start your winning ways, you can get some Movies America merch, like that Movies America T-shirt that you see down there at the bottom. And it comes in other colors, not just black. You get it pink or blue or red or whatever. Okay, and then we have more than just Movies America T-shirts. We have Movies America shot glasses and flasks and pint glasses and cell phone cases and yoga pants and all kinds of good stuff there. But you got to click on the merch link down below in the description. And once you click on that link and the page pops up, you may have to scroll down a little bit to get to the Movies America merch. Maybe not. But once you're on there, just go ahead and do a little browsing, okay? If you're a proud browser, and just kind of push your virtual shopping cart, through the aisles of the Movies merch store and pick out whatever you want. And then when you're all done, you're in the shopping cart, make sure in the promo code field, I know it says whiskey there, but it should say movies. Put in promo code movies, and you're going to get free shipping on your merch. All right. So pretty sweet there, I must say. And again, the way to get to the merch store, the easiest way to get there is just click on the merch link in the description right there. Get it done. Do it. Oh, right. And yes, I mean, Warfare, I'm sure you have picked up by now that this is a movie that I think you should definitely go see. Unfortunately, it got its ass kicked at the theaters, at the box office this last weekend, because like Minecraft came in first, and then like The King of Kings, which is, it's good to see a movie like The King of Kings, all about Jesus and the crucifixion and resurrection. Good to see that coming in second place there. And also King of Kings, I'm sure theater owners like that movie much better than the Minecraft movie, because last time I checked, no one's throwing popcorn or bringing live chickens into showings of the King of Kings like they are like they are with the Minecraft movie. Third place, I think it was like the amateur movie there with Rami Malek, or Freddie Mercury, as most people know him. There, and Lawrence Fishburne, or I'll always know him as Larry Fishburne. And then unfortunately, Warfare just kind of beep, 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 just kind of crawled to fourth place. There you go. I had to get my fingers right. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. So it came in at fourth place, unfortunately, for Warfare. And, of course, it had that R rating working against it there. It's always hard, that all those R ratings right there, because people got to get babysitters and that kind of thing. So, and I think there's a lot of assuming that movies suck, this year right there, because it seems like that's all I've heard. That's most of what I've heard this year is 2025 movies, they all suck. And I'm like, all right, clearly you have not been to the movies. Okay. Now, I'm not saying 2025, the beginning of 2025, has had the most good movies ever. I'm not saying that. I'm not even saying it's had the medium. I'm not even saying it's in the middle of the road as far as the number of good movies in a particular year. But it's had Companion, Hard Eyes. Now it's had Warfare there. Companion. I'm battling. Because there's a true battle for me in the fight for the best movie of 2025 so far between Warfare and Companion. Companion's a damn good movie. So it's funny. And check out my Companion review. I did a Companion review back in February or whenever it came out. There, so check out the Companion review. But Companion is a damn good movie for any year. So that's how when I hear someone, just kind of following the crowd, following the movies in 2025 suck crowd there, and really not doing any independent thinking. That's how I know they haven't seen any movies, or they definitely haven't seen Companion at the movies, because Companion is a legit good movie right there. So check that out. And Warfare is a legit good movie, absolutely there. So check that out. Oh, what else should we do here right there? You know what I think we should do is I should tell you about a great sponsor that we have for the show. That's what I think we should do there right now, because the show, all right, we've got kids to feed with this show, that's for sure. and we need a sponsor or 2 or 3 or 10 or whatever. Okay, and we like sponsors that kind of tie in to what we're trying to do here. Okay, and one of those sponsors that tie in beautifully to what we're doing here on the Till Death Podcast Network is Flip City Magazine. All right. Now, Flip City Magazine, you may be asking yourself, if you're of an inquisitive mind, my God, Van, what is Flip City Magazine? What is this thing you speak of? Well, I shall tell you right there. Okay. So Flip City Magazine is a funny magazine. Now, I can't think of a more basic, better way of putting it, more simpler way of putting it. It's a very funny magazine. It's a humor magazine. So like Mad Magazine and Cracked Magazine back in the day. Okay. But unfortunately, Mad and Cracked magazines, they allowed themselves to get assimilated into the woke Borg. Okay. So unfortunately, when Trump got elected, Trump, like with so many other people across the world, he broke their brains. Okay. And so Trump lives rent free in the brains, or, what they have for brains of the writers at Mad Magazine and Cracked and whatever, right? But Flip City Magazine, it is impervious to that, okay? Because Flip City Magazine's like, we're a humor magazine, all right? We're not Newsweek. We're not Politico, okay? Politics isn't what we do. We're here to make people laugh till they piss their pants, okay? And so Flip City's priority is to crack you up, okay? And that's why you should get it right there. But you know what? I don't know if I've sold you quite yet. I got a feeling I haven't quite sold you on Flip City. So I'm going to call in the cavalry right now.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
All right. So yes, right now your appetite should be tantalized for some Flip City Magazine. So now it's time for me to do my job and illustrate to you how you can get your hands on some Flip City, how to get a Flip City subscription. All right. And we're making it very easy for you. You just got to click on the Flip City link in the description down below. As I cough over here. And click on that Flip City link in the description down below and get your subscription to that. And then if you put in the promo code MOVIES, you're going to get 10% off your order of the best non-woke magazine around. Hands down, the best magazine around. They don't clown. It's been found. All right, so get down and get yourself some Flip City Magazine right there as I have like this. All of a sudden, I got like this heartburn / beer burp. If you can relate to that, not a good place to be right there, particularly when you're in the middle of a live stream right there and you're trying to look all professional here. Professional. Right. There. So there you go. All right, let's check on how many subscribers I have on Rumble right here. How many followers I have on Rumble right here. Let's check this out right here. See if we're up to 200 yet. And we're up to 199. Oh my God, hell yeah! It's like Geeks and Gamers. We got the 199 going on right here. Okay, the 199. But yes, all you have to do, if you would, okay, I implore you, I'm begging you, I'm teetering, I'm begging you. All right, get on Rumble. Okay, get on Rumble, and if you're already on Rumble watching me there, and you see that follow button, and the button still says follow, pretty please click that follow button to follow me on Rumble right there. All right, and that would be super sweet right there. Okay, or if you're not on Rumble watching me already, maybe you're on YouTube or something like that. Just go to Rumble. Okay, just go to rumble.com and just look up Movies Merica, and you're going to find my page there. It's gonna be the Movies Merica page with a crap load of videos on it right there. And then you just got to hit the follow button right there. And I don't think you have to set up a Rumble account to follow someone. Maybe you do there. But even if you have to set up a Rumble account, it's very easy. Just put in I think it's like your name and your email address there, and that's it. It's free to join Rumble. That's all. It doesn't cost you anything right there. But then you'll get the extreme privilege. Man, let's get this coffee down. I got this cold I'm constantly battling with here lately. So I got this tickle in my throat there. But anyway, so all that to say is, go ahead and hit that follow button on Rumble, and let's get this guy. Let's get this guy to 200 right there. Absolutely, I would appreciate that. And then also, if you would, it's very easy. Click, send the link to my Movies Merica page. It's pretty much just moviesmerica.com. Let's check it out. Let's just do this right here real quick. And we'll just do this right here so I can give you the exact web address just to forward to somebody. Let's do this right here. Oh, no, that's not it. That's not it. I don't want that. No. Okay, apparently I can't, I don't know how to work this out here. Okay. My computer is beefing with me there. And let's do this. There we go. Okay, let me do this. There we go. Now I'm getting somewhere. In the battle between computer and Van, Van is getting his ass kicked big time right now. That is for sure. So yeah, Rumble. Go ahead and let's do this in Rumble. All right. There we go. Let's do this. I'm going to do this and go to YouTube. There we go. YouTube. Get on in here and put that URL in there. There we go. And see, probably heard my voice there for a second there. And all right. There we go. And I type this in here, peoples. Click on that Rumble link and click the follow button. Please. There you go. I'm putting it in very pathetic letters right there. There we go. All right. I think we're all right. Absolutely. There you go. All right. So the word is out, everybody. The word is out there to hit the follow button if you would. There, man. I'm just doing all this pathetic begging here tonight. It's really sad. Very, very sad. There. Let me check out here. Do this. Let's see what we got up in here. And yeah, so there, that's right there. So yeah, just got to right there. If you're on YouTube, just go ahead and click on that link right there. That'll get you to my Movies Merica page with the follow button right there. Just click on the old follow button, and that's all you got to do right there. Very easy. I was going to put that in the Rumble live chat, but if you're in the live chat on Rumble already, well, you're already in Rumble, so you don't need me to send you that. It's kind of pointless. There. All right. So, all right, let's do this here real quick. Let's get into my favorite segment of every Thursday night show, every Movies Merica spoiler warning show. And that, of course, is the Movies Merica Live segment there. And I got a feeling, I got a sneaking suspicion, all right, that I am not the only one where the movie military moment is their favorite segment of every show. Okay, so I got a feeling that that's the favorite segment of a lot of people here. And there we go. All right, we got this on lock over here. All right, so let me explain real quick here what the movie military moment is. Okay, so it's just a few minutes I give for myself to pay tribute to service men and women that have been awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, right? Or the CMH for sure. for short right there. And you may be wondering, hey, what's the tie-in there, Van? Two movies right there. I mean, it seems like quite the stretch. You're doing a movie show, but then you're like just awkwardly just plopping in this Congressional Medal of Honor tribute segment into this movie show. Like, what's the connection to movies? That doesn't make any sense. Well, I shall tell you there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what the connection is right there. But first, this. All right, so about that connection. So as you would imagine, if someone is awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, okay, they did it for something spectacular, something amazing to the eyeballs if you were to see it live or even on a screen, okay? So they didn't get it for being the best ass kisser on base or being the best letter sorter at the base post office or slopping the most chow onto the soldiers' trays or anything like that. No, they got it for something like picture a helicopter pilot in Vietnam, right? And they're bringing supplies, evacuating the wounded, all right? And they're flying to the battle lines, and they got an LZ, they got a landing zone, but the LZ is too hot, okay? Because the VC, the Viet Cong, all right, they're firing off RPGs and mortar rounds. They're shooting at helicopters. It's too hot. All right. The LZ is about to be overrun. And you're a helicopter pilot, like, you know what? There's wounded down there. We got to get those wounded out. All right. We got to get those wounded out here. We got ammo back here. We got supplies. If we don't get these supplies to these troops, we're going to be overrun. And we're going to have, 500 dead Marines by morning. Like, I got to get down there. And your captain's on the radio, he's on the squawk box. He's like, "Get that chopper back here. That's a hot LZ. All right, you're gonna pay for that helicopter out of your paycheck there. All right." And you're like, "Screw that, sir. No disrespect. I'm getting down there. I'm landing my chopper in a hot LZ." So you land your chopper in a hot LZ. You're under fire all over the place, and you're risking life and limb. You're selfless, and you get the wounded out. You drop the supplies off, and and so you make it out of there. Or say you're like a Marine, all right, and you're on Iwo Jima, all right, and you're storming the beaches of Iwo Jima. You're storming some Jap pillboxes, and you see like this Jap, and he's got a flamethrower, and he's about to cook your buddies over there, and you're out of ammo, all right. You got your BAR on you, your Browning automatic rifle is what that stands for, but you're out of rounds, you're out of ammo. You got no ammo, and you're like, man, I gotta stop this guy. He's about to flame broil all my buddies over there. So all you've got on you is one grenade. So you run over there, you pull the pin on the grenade, you run into the guy with a flamethrower and a bunch of other Japs there, and you blow yourself up and them, saving your fellow Marines right there. A selfless act. You gave the ultimate sacrifice. Okay, so like what is it saying? Like, all gave some, but some gave all. Okay, you definitely gave all there, and you were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. And if you saw that on a big movie screen right in front of your eyes, that would be a cool movie military moment. Okay, and so that's the connection with the movie military moment and paying tribute to a Congressional Medal of Honor honoree. There we go. All right, but with that, let's get to our tonight's referee. No zebras here, okay? No, tonight's honoree for the movie military moment, and that would be one Sergeant, and I'm going to butcher this name. I apologize in advance. Sergeant Matej Kochak, okay? There, and I apologize for butchering the name, which I surely am. And he fought in World War I here. And before we learn more about Sergeant Kochak, I think Sergeant Kochak deserves his own movie military moment music, don't you? Yeah, I agree. So let's take care of that right now. This is the movie military moment. And in this movie military moment, we pay tribute to one Sergeant Matej Kochak. fought for us in World War I. Let's learn more about Sergeant Kojak. Army Medal of Honor. When the advance of his battalion was checked by a hidden machine gun nest, he went forward alone, unprotected, by covering fire from his own men and working between the German positions in the face of fire. Enemy covering projected. Locating the machine gun nest, he rushed it in with his bayonet and drove off the crew. Shortly after this, he organized 25 French colonial forces who had become separated from their company and led them in attacking another machine gun nest, which was also put out of action. Navy Medal of Honor for extraordinary heroism while serving with the 66th Company, 5th Regiment, 2nd Division, in action in the Villars Cotterêts section. Was on France, 18 July 1918. When a hidden machine gun nest halted the advance of his battalion, Sergeant Kojak went forward alone, unprotected by covering fire, and worked his way in between the German positions in the face of heavy enemy fire. Rushing the enemy position with his bayonet, he drove off through. Later the same day, Sergeant Kojak organized French colonial soldiers who had become separated from their company and led them in an attack on another machine gun nest, which is also put out of action. And we salute you, Sergeant Kojak, for what you did to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. We cannot thank you enough there. And so that has been our movie military moment. All right, there we go. So I adjust my eyeball there. There we go. Anybody who wears contacts can relate. There you go. But yeah, if you happen to know like the family or friends of Sergeant Kojak there, first off, apologize to them for my mispronunciation of his name there, most likely. And also let them know, hey, there's this knucklehead out here that's paying tribute to your loved one here, because I'm assuming Sergeant Kojak is no longer with us. And I'm sure probably his immediate family is probably not with us anymore either. But yeah, I'm sure he's got descendants, right? So there you go. All right, but let them know and have them check that out if you would. All right. And also, you don't have to wait for me to do these movie military moments if you want to hear about the stories of these great service people being awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. You can go to cmohs.org and see these Congressional Medal of Honor recipients and read their stories right there. They're very captivating and they're very motivational, because if you're feeling lazy, so if you're like, waking up in the morning and you haven't done anything but eat breakfast and scratch your nuts, and you're like, I'm so unmotivated. Well, go to cmohs.org and read a few of these citations there for these Congressional Medal of Honor winners. And that'll get you motivated right there, okay? Because you'll be like, yeah, if they can rush a Japanese pillbox and take out a bunch of Japs with one grenade, I think I can get off my ass and go do my grocery shopping, okay? There you go. That's the least you can do. All right, and on that stupid note, let's wrap up this movie military moment. All right, so let me do this. I'm going to take a little tug off my beer here. And again, hey, it's Thirsty Thursday. It's almost Friday. It's almost the weekend. A lot of people have a 3-day weekend here this weekend here. So even more cause to celebrate. But so on that note, oh yeah, that Belhaven Scottish Ale, you could do a whole lot worse when it comes to brew than that right there. But real quick, just let me implore you, or just let you guys know that if you are enjoying what you're hearing right here, you can show your appreciation monetarily, financially, if you so desire, by using what Rumble calls a Rumble rant, or what YouTube calls a super chat, okay? And so Rumble rant on Rumble is just a way for you to throw a buck or two or however much you want my way. So how you do that in Rumble for the Rumble rant is down by where you type in your live chat message there. You're going to see a button with a $sign on it. And when you click on that, it's just going to ask you how much money you want to throw my way. Okay. And that's it. Very easy. And then if you're watching me on the Tube of Views or YouTube, you can just down again by where you type in your live chat message. Just click on the button with a dollar bill on it. And then just put in how much you want to donate my way. And that's it. Very easy. Okay. And I ask only do that if you feel like doing it right there. Okay. Because, I'm not going to be one of those show runners, those content creators that are going to try to guilt trip you into throwing money my way and that kind of thing. So if I didn't earn it, I don't deserve it. All right. If I don't deserve it, don't throw any money my way right there. So, but I try to, like, when I'm watching a show and I can afford it, I try to show some love to whoever's doing the show, because it does take up time. You're doing research for the show, and you're also putting yourself out here, to the masses live, which is harder than doing a pre-recorded show where you can edit the pre-recorded show to make you look extra cool and pretty and all that stuff. Where when you're doing a live show like I am right now, or the show I do on Sundays, then you're putting it out there already. You're putting your balls out there, right? And you could run into some embarrassing moments right there. Not that I've ever had an embarrassing moment on this show or ever will, because I always handle my business perfectly. All right, there you go. But I'm just talking about other people that aren't as perfect as this guy right here. There you go. All right. All right, there we go. And let's move on in the show. And, I think what I wanted to do at this point is I just kind of wanted to have a little off the cuff discussion about some of my favorite war scenes in some of my favorite war movies here. And one of my favorite war movies is one I mentioned before. It is We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson. It's got Greg Kinnear and Sam Elliott in it. And I kind of touched on it before, where I'll kind of feed you the plot. So this is a movie that revolves around our first entry into Vietnam. So we're talking about before Americans went into Vietnam, and then a few years after the French got out of Vietnam. Okay, and so it's where we're detecting that communists, the communists from Russia, they're driving into Vietnam there, and we don't want communism to spread around the world. So we go over to Vietnam to fight the communists, to fight the North Vietnamese, right? Because it's the North Vietnamese, the VC, that are taking up the communism and they're adhering and believing in communism and all that stuff, right? So we're trying to stem the flow of communism. And so the brass, right, the military brass is wanting to send American troops over there in mass quantities, because up until this point, up until the point of the beginning of We Were Soldiers, we had advisors over there, training the South Vietnamese army and that kind of thing. But now we're talking about, escalating our involvement. And that brings us to Mel Gibson as Lieutenant Colonel Hal Moore and his air cav troops. Okay, so and the air cav, what's distinctive about them is they're the first ones to go in there with Huey helicopters, right? Huey choppers, right? They're going in there and they're fighting this first helicopter war, okay? And that's what Vietnam really is known for, as being like the first helicopter war. And so all the soldiers being flown in to the battlefield via all these Hueys, they're known as, the air cav part of the army there, or airborne, for better or worse, or for another way of putting it right there. And so Mel Gibson's Lieutenant Colonel Hal Moore is the leader, okay? And then Sam Elliott plays his sergeant there. And so sergeant's kind of like his right-hand man. And so I'm going to show you a scene here, which is kind of right smack dab in the middle of the movie. They have been flown over to Vietnam. They have been choppered into the battlefield. They're already at the battlefield, as you will be able to tell here in this scene right here. And I'm going to stop it every, 30 seconds or so to try not to get a copyright strike here there, but also because I want to explain the scene and kind of give you some backstory and explain it and that kind of thing there. But and also a big part of We Were Soldiers is the toll that soldiers being sent to war has on the wives at home, right? The wives and the children, because they say that when a loved one is dispatched or deployed somewhere to fight a battle, the battle is being fought on two fronts, right? In the battle and then also on the home front. Okay, so that's a big part of the movie We Were Soldiers here. So it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely should check it out. Definitely not one to watch with the kiddies in the room. Not at all. Don't do that right there, because this will scar them for life with some of the violence in this movie. And so to that point there, let's do this here. Get a little presentation on. And let's go that. And let's kind of enhance that, make that bigger. Let's make it bigger. There we go. See how that looks. And there we go. All right, let's do this right here. Let's do this.
Pilots do not see the enemy. They cannot take out our friendlies.
So, real quick here. So, you see the guy on the right there? That's a guy that you would get to know a number of years later as John Hamm. Yes, it's one of John Hamm's earliest roles in his acting career. So, way before he was Don Draper in Mad Men and was in Top Gun Maverick and other movies and that kind of thing. But John Hamm is pretty close to a household name now. But when We Were Soldiers came out in 2002, nobody knew who this guy was. But so the guy on the right there, that's John Hamm.
Again, you gotta tell your company commander to pop smoke down. They need to mark the lines right now.
We have no lines. We have enemies and friendlies mixed in all over the place out there. Sir, our perimeter is collapsing. Alpha Company and Bravo Company cannot hold.
And again, that's Mel Gibson as Lieutenant Colonel Hal Moore. And they picked him for this job, as it says in the movie, because he volunteered to test out parachutes. So whenever the military wanted to test out new parachute technology, Hal Moore, they're played by Mel Gibson, he would be like, yeah, sign me up. Yeah, strap that experimental parachute to my back and I'll jump out of a plane and see if it works. So that's so in the movie that's mentioned. And so the Nebraska's like, sounds exactly like the kind of guy we need leading this troop.
Charlie Company's being overrun. Get call, wait for it. Keep the snake clear.
Calm down, go back.
So where they're at right now, this is the Ai Drang Valley, and it's famous now because of this battle right here. This happened in real life. This is based on a real story here, as you would guess there. But this is the Ai Drang Valley, and this is the first major battle between the Viet Cong and Americans. And so this is like, with this battle, this is America going, we in it. We're in Vietnam. This is the beginning of the Vietnam. I was about to say the Vietnam War, and that wasn't a war. We never declared war against Vietnam. We did this sleazy kind of thing where we called it a police action, so that we wouldn't need Congress to declare war there. And so we went into Vietnam, and of course, what was it, like 55 or 57,000 casualties later? We got out of Vietnam. So, of course, this is well before, or a little bit before, Mel Gibson and his unfortunate, controversial, instance or moment he wishes he had back, where he's getting all anti-Semitic. Of course, he was drunk as a skunk when he did that. Still doesn't make it right, but that was what it was, and he's still paying for it to this day. Because that happened when 2020 or 2000. 2005, 2006 or something like that. So we're almost to 20 years after that happened. So he's still paying for it to this day. Like, yeah, Mel Gibson is persona non grata in a lot of areas right here. But the Mel Gibson you're looking at right here, this is before all that went down.
Broken Arrow! Broken Arrow! I'll say again! Broken Arrow!
So you're about to see what Broken Arrow means. And no, they're not referring to the 1996 John Woo movie starring John Travolta and Christian Slater. You're about to see what Broken Arrow is all about.
Arrow!
Confirmed. Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow confirmed!
Broken Arrow? That means that an American has been overrun, calls in every combat aircraft for support. My God, there's no hiding it now.
So that guy right there, that's one of those guys, that, they're always scheming and kind of sleazy and are just trying to, I don't know. It's like it's people like that lose us wars right there because we're always trying to half-ass wars. I mean, I think that's the number one reason we lost Vietnam is because we half-assed it. We were worried more about optics and looking diplomatic, and we don't want to look like the bad guys. We want to look nice, So we wouldn't use the artillery that we should have used. We wouldn't, bring in the troops and bring in the technology and bring in the air support that we needed to win various battles here and there and whatnot. We would just half-ass it, and it was because of guys like this guy right here that this actor is portraying right here because that caused all that. So. Is anybody else here in a little Kenny Loggins danger zone in her head right now? So yeah, I kind of am.
Charlie Company, report! Signal, hands out! Bravo Company, report! Planes are on their way, Colonel!
So as you can tell, and there's Sam Elliott as a sergeant. So no big typical Sam Elliott stash in this movie right here. So, yeah, as you can tell, you see rounds splashing all around them, and that's why they're calling them broken arrows because all their lines have been overrun by all these VC, so they can't tell like who's who. We got VC intermixed with American troops, so you don't know who you're shooting at. You're like, what the hell? They're closing in, and because as you learn in this movie, there's like the American troops are outmanned massively by the sheer thousands of VC troops.
Sir! Roger that! We have planes stacked up at every 1,000 feet, from 7 to 35,000.
The ubiquitous M16 rifle there. So back in the day, that was the age of the M16 rifle. Of course, they use M4s now. That's a standard issue rifle there in the military now, the M4. But yeah, M16s, that was the name of the game back then there. And so that's every single Vietnam movie you watch, M16s and M60s. There you see all those, the famous Vietnam era weaponry.
We'll get him, sir! Advancing north on our position at 150!
So all these aircraft coming in. So that's like the guy explained earlier in this clip. This is Broken Arrow right here. What you're seeing right here is they're basically just like break all the air support you possibly can come in and drop everything that you have on your aircraft. Keep coming in. Just drop everything you got. Got to save the American troops because they're getting overrun. And you just imagine what these VC troops are like, oh my God, I didn't sign up for this. This isn't fair. running around. I got my little AK right here, but the whole time I'm fighting, I got to worry about some bomb dropping on me and me getting, Kentucky fried and whatnot. Like, I ain't signing with this shit right there. Oh, wait, is that a plane coming? Oh, my God, I just got shot with these big rounds from this airplane. Like, hey, General, how can us, the Vietnamese, where do we get some aircraft like this, So, amazing.
Closer in on 315 degrees. That's 050 meters. Repeat, 050.
So yeah, extra crispy or original recipe right there with what's going on this field there. So yeah, the VC just they don't know what hit them right there because again, remember this is the first time that the VC troops have run into this here. They haven't fought a battle like this. The French didn't have anything like this when they were in Vietnam a few years before this. So they were under the impression like, hey, we're just going to rush down the mountain with our guns. The American troops are going to have their guns and we're just going to shoot at each other or, stab each other with bayonets. And then all of a sudden this shit comes in and they're like, oh my God, what is this? We're definitely going to lose this war. Little did they know. So yeah, you get these radio guys like that guy and then John Hamm earlier, and yeah, they're just calling in these coordinates here to these pilots, and yeah, they're trying to call in these coordinates, and wow, they're under fire too. I mean, a round could hit them in the face at any time, and so yeah, you're under a lot of stress there. You're just, I mean, it's not like the same as practicing being a radio operator, back on base or anything like that. You're in the shit. You're right in the middle of it. Death, you're staring, down death's door this whole time. And you got to try to do your job here. And sometimes you make mistakes.
Bring it in closer in on 315 degrees. That's 050 meters. Charlie, call that son of a bitch out. Call the boy down. Come on. Get down.
So obviously that's horrific there. And this movie, what makes this extra horrific right there is this movie made sure to introduce these characters that you see burning alive right now to you earlier, where you get to know them. And one of them was talking about like, hey man, I got a kid back home. I'm here. I can't wait to go see her. And then now that guy is over here burning alive. Man, it's tough, very tough.
Charlie, listen to me. You're keeping us alive now. You forget about that one. And you keep them coming.
That's a good leader. That's a good leader.
And you're doing well, son. 702. Attack against the tree line.
Yep, the horrors of war right there. So that's just one scene that kind of supports, or that definitely supports what I was saying before, where I think that We Were Soldiers was the most violent war movie that I've ever seen personally there, but it doesn't glamorize it though. It doesn't try to make it look sadistic or anything like that. It's violence in service to a movie or to a story with its heart in the right place. it's trying to pay tribute to these men of the Air Cav that went over there, and they laid the foundation for what warfare was going to be in Vietnam going forward right there. And they showed, they went up against the VC, the North Vietnamese, and the North Vietnamese, when you watch the movie, they explain like how many VC troops are in this area, in the Ai Drang Valley, and they're hiding in these tunnels in this mountainside, bordering this Ai Drang Valley right there. So the American troops, helicopters or no helicopters, broken arrow capabilities or no broken arrow capabilities, they're greatly outnumbered there. As you saw, that's why they had to call in a broken arrow to bring them in. And so that's what, as We Were Soldiers, yeah, it's a movie all about paying tribute to the man on the ground, and then their loved ones back at home. But in the course of doing that, it's got some pretty gory, gruesome clips there. So let's do this. What else do we got here? Another movie. There we go. Let's try this one. So we got let's see what we got. Oh, there's a scene here. I want to find to see a scene from Black Hawk Down here. I'm trying to find it here. See if we can see it. Here we go. This might be it. Let's do this. All right, here we go. Let's try this here. And again, I'm going to have to interrupt this every once in a while there because I'm trying to avoid a copyright strike, of course. And if you've seen Black Hawk Down, you know this scene here. So there we go. Yep, there you go. Nice. Very handy. All right, it's already there. And let's check this. Let's see. Let's move ahead. So right here, we're going to skip this first thing because this is where he's basically just trying to throw the strobe up on the roof there. So then these helicopters can come in there and they can light up the Somali, the Mogadishu, the Moog that are up on the roofs right here. So let's do this. All right. There we go. All right, I went too far. All right, here we go. Let's do it right there. There we go. Trying to push up a strobe. Right up there. Go up the roof right there. So now, as you see right there, the helicopters up above can see like, oh, hey, there's a strobe. I see it. So that must be the bad guys because he threw the strobe up to mark where the bad guys are at. So now we know where to kick some ass.
I got your position. I got the target. We're inbound hot.
Oh, that's your ass. Yeah, there you go, man. I'll tell you, Ridley Scott, who directed Black Hawk Down, man, he does action so well right there. So, and you can tell, like, from the cinematography, the color palette of this movie, you're like, well, this isn't just Ridley Scott. Jerry Bruckheimer, I bet he had a hand in this Black Hawk Down movie right here, because this cinematography, this color palette in this movie is just quintessential Jerry Bruckheimer, because you see cinematography like this, and in Bad Boys and Black Hawk Down, or we're watching Black Hawk Down, dumb. Bad Boys and Top Gun and The Rock, Crimson Tide. Typically, like back in those days, Jeffrey Kimball was the director of photography that did like The Rock and Top Gun and Days of Thunder, other Jerry Bruckheimer movies of that era. But yeah, I just love this is like one of my favorite battle scenes in movies right there. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to show you a couple of my favorite battle scenes from war movies there. And then, of course, you could tell in that scene, had that really pump you up like Hans Zimmer music in the background. You're like, oh, boy. Oh, these Moog, man, they are about to get wasted. They're about to get turned into Swiss cheese, by these little birds coming in there and lighting their asses up. Yeah. All right. So I'm pumped up. I want to join the army right now, like that kind of thing. So it's, and, all the anti-war, anti-military people be like, Black Hawk Down is nothing but military propaganda. That kind of thing. Like, what? Bullshit. It's just trying to show you a story of actually what happened. Black Hawk Down, that was a real thing that happened in Mogadishu there. So back in the day. But anyway, so enough of that right there. I think I've tempted copyright claim fate enough there tonight. Let's check out things here. I want to make sure I got everything on the down low here. Good. All right. So just to let you guys know here as I get ready to wrap up this episode that next week's movie will be the new Ryan Coogler movie with Michael B. Jordan called Sinners. Yes, the movie Sinners that supposedly involves vampires, which I love a good vampire movie. So we'll see how this movie rolls, see if it's any good or not. I've been trying to be extra careful, not seeing any kind of reviews or any kind of news about Sinners. I just know it's directed by Ryan Coogler. You guys know from Black Panther and the first two Creed movies. So he's a good director there, but we'll see how he does in Sinners. So I'm going to check that out. So this Sunday's Movies Merica live show, that will be the spoiler-free review of Sinners. And then a week from tonight, the Movies Merica spoiler warning show will be a spoilery show all about Sinners there. And again, as I always say about the Movies Merica spoiler warning show, I don't go out of my way to spoil the movies there. So you may or may not hear spoilers on a Movies Merica spoiler warning episode, but I don't exactly walk on eggshells and twist myself up in a pretzel to avoid spoilers on the show. That's why I say spoiler warning in the title right there. So, all right. And again, hey, let me just take another minute to, of course, beg you again to follow me on Rumble there. And so if you're checking me out on YouTube, I've got the Movies Merica link there in the live chat on YouTube for you to click on there if you would be so kind there. And it's at rumble.com/c/Movies Merica link in the live chat on YouTube. Just got to click on that. And then when that comes up, just click the follow button there, and that'll get you following me there. And I appreciate that. That'll get me hopefully up again above or at 200 at least, and maybe above 200 right there. So, and it is, so you got to do that, or whatever, wherever you're watching me from. Now, if you're not watching me live, if you're watching the recording of this, you can still do that. You could still go to rumble.com and just look up Movies Merica, and there's you might see multiple Movies Merica pages. Mine is the one with a crap load of videos on it there, and you'll see that I have 199, or hopefully by that time over 200 followers, and you just got to hit the follow button. Costs you absolutely nothing. Doesn't put you on an email list. You're not going to start getting spammed or texted or anything like that. So not at all. It just means that when you go to Rumble and you click on the My Feed button, then you're going to see my new episodes show up in your feed and that kind of thing. So that's what happens with that as well. So there you go. All right, and let's check out everything. Man, that damn cough. Woo. All right, so let's get ready to wrap up everything here for the evening. So that's how we roll, and let's double check everything because again, like I say, I always run a tight ship over here. All right, well, I always got to do that, and all right. So with that, everybody, get out there, people. Those movies aren't gonna watch themselves. See ya.
Fuck you, Ian.
Howdy, my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Would you do me a favor and check me out at solo.to/moviesmerica? That's where you would go for a one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with me, Movies Merica. And then also, if you want to check out the audio-only podcast versions of my Movies Merica live episodes, that's my spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday, you can go to moviesmerica.com or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, places like that. And then, actually, if you would also check me out on the social media sites like X and Instagram and Facebook and Gab. And I'm on those locations all under @MoviesMerica. So it is very easy to find me out there, all right? So get to it, everybody. All right, thanks for watching. Later.
Fuck you, Ian.
Make sure you check out solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist for all of our links and ways to stay up to date with me.
I'm kind of retarded.
And Casey, the soundboard lord.
Dwight, you ignorant slut!
We do our show, The Whiskey Capitalist Podcast, every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, where we talk trending news, politics, pop culture, and whatever weird shit we come up with that day. So if any of that sounds like fun, make sure you check us out. We are also on Instagram and X. Wait, we're not on Instagram because that platform sucks.
Dang.
We're on X at WhiskeyCapPod. Probably here somewhere. Go check it out and stay up to date with us, and make sure you check us out on Rumble, on all the places where you're supposed to find us, or just go to solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist.
Come on, man.
For all of the links. Yeah. Bye.
Fuck you, Ian.
Find me on Rumble at Soundboard Lord, Monday through Fridays, about 10 a.m. Thursday nights, we're going to start doing horror nights, and you can blurp me to scare the shit out of me and all that fun stuff. Do it. Horror.
Fuck you, Ian.
What's going on, guys? Make sure you check out solo.to/Till Death Podcast for the podcast that I do with my wife, Jen, every other Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, where we talk about married life, husband and wife issues. Not that we have any issues, because we have a perfect marriage. Also, we talk about healthy living, healthy eating, and don't worry, we're not vegans. Those guys are weird. We also talk about weird stories and funny stuff that we find on the internet. We do funny videos at the very end. It's a whole lot of fun. If all of that seems like something that you want to watch, then make sure you check it out. Like I said, every other Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. And check out the link that we have below right here for our X and Instagram. It is at Till Death Podcast, podcast without the vowel. So TILDEATHPDCST. And hope we see you there. See you later, guys.
Try to relax your anus.
Fuck you, Ian. It's not that hard. It's right there. It's right there. Just read it. Follow me on Twitter at SoundboardLord. Fuck you, Ian.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.